I would like to request the board's action on today. Approval of the integrated resource plan. Anyone who has listened to previous reports of the External Relations Committee knows that we have been heavily focused on the development of this roadmap for more than a year. The TVA team has developed several groundbreaking analytical approaches.
Mr. Chairman and Board, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity today to come before you for consideration the 2015 IRP. This has been a great team effort, both internal to TVA with the staff that have worked on this, as well as external. Many of the comments you've heard today from all of our stakeholders who have really been providing important input. But specifically for consideration, we would like to ask for your approval for the planning direction, which is recommended in the 2015 IRP. Affirm the merits of having a diverse energy portfolio, and direct staff to continue to monitor future developments, both in terms of energy efficiency, in its pricing and performance, renewable resources, our load forecast, and commodity prices. Probably one of the most important ones for this particular IRP was for us to begin to look at something we're terming as flexibility. And that is the ability of the different generation assets to respond to changing conditions. As we look at bringing new types of resources, intermittent resources such as solar and wind onto the portfolio, as we do more with energy efficiency, our ability to be able to shift our resources around and manage them effectively becomes a much more important attribute. And that's something we consider fairly heavily in this IRP. When you think about traditional IRP planning, what we're talking about is our ability to match up supply with demand. And if you think about our existing fleet of generation assets, they currently meet the existing demand in the valley. But over time, that demand continues to grow. And as that demand grows, we have to think about the kinds of resources that we would use to meet that plan. And so if you look at the chart in front of you, basically we're talking about what are the things that we can add to fill that dark blue wedge that you see there growing over time, while recognizing that the existing fleet will continue to be there and continue to provide load or generation for the load that already exists. As I think was mentioned already with stakeholders and a number of folks today that from the listening session, the IRP really is about being a compass. It's not about being a GPS. And what we mean by that is it's a directional document. It helps the board understand as the world evolves in the different directions that it evolves, the implications of decisions that you might make. But it does not make specific asset decisions. Those decisions have to be addressed by the board on an individual basis and will depend upon circumstances at the particular time and at the location in which we need specific generation assets. The process itself was very robust. We use what's called a scenario and strategy process. And what we do there is we envision a number of scenarios, which are basically ways in which we think the world might evolve in the future, and we try to imagine a number of different types of worlds. For example, you might think of one where economic growth is very robust. You might think of one where economic growth is very lackluster. You compare it to our need to build other generation assets, whether those would be gas, nuclear, solar, etc. The innovations that our team has come up with here really allows us now to treat energy efficiency as a comparable resource. In addition to that, we also spent a lot of time with our stakeholders trying to understand solar and wind much better and trying to get the empirical data that goes with that for the modeling much more sophisticated. And we believe that what we've come up with in this model really now allows us to effectively evaluate all resources on a very similar footing. And then lastly, and I think I've already said, the stakeholders were integral in this process. And we've had some very robust discussion, as you heard from the stakeholders today, not on 100% agreement on everything, but we've gotten some very good insight in how to do things. They've actually helped us think about doing things differently. A number of the scenarios and strategies were actually things that they drove for us. Specifically, we've had the Regional Energy Resource Council involved, and we'll hear from them here in just a moment. Dust is going to speak to us. But in addition to that, we created a working group that had our customers, it had state agencies involved, local environmental organizations, academia, economic development groups, and we carried them through the process. In fact, our project manager, Garry says they had to make sausage with us. Some of them will probably tell you it was as painful as that sounds. But it was very helpful. We met a large number of times. You can see from the slide here, the working group meeting met almost monthly for about a year and a half. And then on top of that, we had public meetings across the valley to be able to hear from the general public, both as we were first scoping the document and as we created a draft document. And then we've tried to include technology, and so we've also done a number of webinars for folks that were unable to attend the meetings, and then all of our materials we've posted and made available for folks to review on our website. What we believe we've achieved with this IRP is a balance of resource mix that we believe over the 30-year period gives options to ensure the least cost requirements for TVA, while at the same time maintaining reliability. A framework for making sure we can provide affordable, reliable, and sustainable power really to continue the economic growth within the valley. Before I shift back to the recommendation, though, I would like to ask Dust Rogers, the chair for the Regional Energy Resource Council, to come up and give you his perspective on the IRP.
Good morning. Almost good afternoon. I know you guys have had a long morning already. I'm going to take the liberty before I talk about the RERC. I want to thank the TVA board, Chairman Rich, the board, Mr. Johnson, for the good project and for all the work that the TVA employees did. I know you guys have covered it pretty extensively, but I was on the ground level and the local level working with Spencer Sessions and John Bradley and his team, and they did a fantastic job. We appreciate that. It's a great win for all of us. The Regional Energy Resource Council advice, you have a copy of that in your materials, was unanimously approved by the RERC on June 17th. Our RERC was established by TVA to obtain advice and views from the public on the development and management of energy resources in the Tennessee Valley region. As it was mentioned, it's a diverse group. Many of our council members are here today in attendance. As part of this mission, the RERC has participated in the development of this 2015 IRP. And it was like making sausage. I would agree with that. It was very educational and a good process. And throughout this process, the RERC has given guidance to TVA staff on the development of the study and the resulting planning recommendations. Now there's 5 firms, and I'm going to skip through those because they've pretty much been covered. And you all have them there in front of you. But I do want to skip to the council advice. The RERC recommends that the TVA board approve the 2015 IRP and use the IRP as a guide to deliver reliable, low-cost power to electric customers in the Tennessee Valley. We provide the following guidance around implementation of the IRP. Number 1, TVA should consider all the analysis in the IRP and continue to refine input assumptions based on relevant data, knowledge about technology advances, and changing market conditions. Number 2, TVA should work closely with the local power companies as energy efficiency efforts and distribution level resources are implemented. And number 3, TVA and appropriate partners should investigate additional approaches in energy efficiencies and distribution resources, considering those who cannot afford the necessary investments and recognizing fairness and equity for all ratepayers. Thank you for letting us be a part of this process.
No question? How was the vote on your council on that proposal?
It was unanimous.
Time being mindful of our obligation to protect the environment in which we all live and work. This proposed IRP differs, as we said, significantly from the one previously adopted in 2011 in that it has looked at all the options, including energy efficiency, as a resource. The IRP sets a direction, not actionable items per se. This direction may be met by various strategies that could vary as market conditions may change. Our committee has had extensive discussions regarding the assumptions built into this proposal. We see the IRP as a living document rather than a static one. We believe this plan provides a responsible path, providing direction to our staff and aiding TVA in accomplishing its goals. We readily admit that this plan is not perfect, but no plan ever will be perfect in the eyes of everyone involved. We cannot let perfect become the enemy of good. With that, let me say our committee and staff believe this is a very good plan, and on behalf of the External Relations Committee, I would respectfully move the resolution's adoption, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second? I do have one comment. Any other comment? I think we have a motion second. All in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report of the External Relations Committee.
Thank you, Mike. A special thank you to Joe and your team, and to us, the members of the RERC, for